Morning, everybody. This is Judith. I hope you're listening to Mad Love. Let's get into it. How's it going? Technically, I'm recording this on Sunday. It's Easter Sunday. Happy Resurrection Day. You know, I heard many people say that today. Happy Easter. Happy Resurrection Day. You know, it's cool. I am very much into a good comeback story, so it can be Resurrection Day for me as well. I don't care. I love the story of, you know, the trauma, the crisis, the suffering. 3 days later, you move the stone and I am not there, which is such a valuable lesson for everybody, really. You know, you can't stay where the trauma is. If you're not growing through your pain, it's not worth it. You're not learning the lessons you're supposed to learn, and you're not ascending from them. You're not becoming a better person. You're not moving to a higher timeline or a higher vision of yourself. If you suffer and just suffer for no reason other than to just suffer, and you don't grow from it. That's very important. I think that is a powerful lesson that I have utilized many times in my life. And there have been many situations where somebody expected to find me behind the stone, and I wasn't there. I wasn't there at all. I moved on. I moved up spiritually and physically. So I want to talk a little bit about all of this cleaning I've been doing in my brother's apartment. You cannot possibly know what's going on in someone's life until you get into their space. So, like, it's important to see someone. You know, when someone is not well, I always try to see them because their eyes will tell me. I can almost always tell who's sick based off of their eyes. If you have bright eyes and they look good and there's just something about the eyes that will tell you how sick or not sick the person is. And so another barometer of that is their space. And I'm going to be honest, my friends are the best. My friends and my cousins are so good. One of my cousins came over yesterday and we worked for about 4 hours and we hauled out 7 giant bags to donate of medical supplies. My brother had like a little hospital in his apartment and most of it was unopened and neglected. He didn't even use it. And it was like, what you had all the tools and everything that you would possibly need to get well, and you just wouldn't use it. I don't understand that. I'm endlessly frustrated by his personality, and I know a lot of it probably is the mental illness, but I don't use it to feel sorry for him because he made choices. You know, he did exactly what he wanted to do. He would shine you on and tell you anything. And all these people who they're like, oh, Tracy, I talked to him and he was this. Oh, I talked to him and he was that. And oh, yes, he's so, deeply still with his faith. And I'm like, is he? I'm the one talking faith and God. I haven't heard him say anything spiritual or godly in years. He was just a labyrinth of a person. A brain like that has to be a burden. It just has to be. I'm glad I'm not mentally ill. I've seen it very up close for many, many years. But like the people that he attracted into his life, he could control them. And most of them don't even know that he was manipulating them to get what he wanted. Because that was part of his personality. And I'm his younger sibling. I saw a lot. And I saw a lot of it up close. And he wasn't completely out of his mind. He never asked me to bring him any bad food because he knows I would never do that. I didn't even know there was a such thing as a double whopper. So if he had asked me, he knows he would have gotten a lot of resistance. Because I don't think people who are in poor health should eat like that. And I can't help you eat like that. So yeah, I think it's important to get your eyes on someone's space. Is it clean? Are people cleaning? I would say his care team weren't great with cleaning his space. For me, cleaning is part of the care. I had my hospice team walking in asking me if I was running a professional hospice home. And I was like, no. I just buy fresh flowers and keep it clean because that's how I was raised. And that's what my mom would expect. And that's, she couldn't even walk out there to see the flowers anymore. But, I'm welcoming you into my home to care for my mom. It's going to be clean. You know what I mean? Like, that's a part of it. So, I don't know. I would say if you're going to hire outside help, make sure that they are honest, trustworthy. It's not enough that they just care about your loved one. In fact, I would take a lot less care for him as a person and more, I work really hard. I'm into cleanliness. I want to maximize my value. I want to help as much as I can. I would rather have a lot more of that than, I like him so much. He's like family to me, or he's like the brother I never had. Like, that has no significance in the real world. What has significance is work and effort, because when you're caring for someone, you have to be vigilant and you're going to be exhausted. It's an endless supply of laundry to be done, wiping down surfaces, making sure things are sanitized. I don't think any of that was being done, not to the degree that I would have demanded. And I didn't want to blow up his team because he was in charge of it and he picked these people. But I think if you're going to hire people, you should make sure they're hard workers and be there to supervise some of their effort. But my brother he didn't care as much about them being great at cleaning or, taking care of him as much as he cared about, will somebody bring me fried fish and, Popeye's chicken. No, he didn't like Popeye's. He liked Lee's chicken and Papa John's. Like, I'm telling you, I've never seen anything like this. And if you really want to get to know somebody, get into their space and see how they live. And I'm falling behind on my own cleaning because I feel like I'm doing so much cleaning, but psychologically, I just feel like I've cleaned and I'm not registering that it's not my space. So I get back here and I'm like, why is everything so junky? So, but I'm working to exhaustion a couple times a week over there because it's just so much. He was really, really sick starting in about, to my knowledge, 2017, 2018. I know he was hospitalized right after I started my job in the county. So that was 2018. And then I think eventually he decided to move back to St. Louis, and he may have had a hospitalization in between there. He's been very sick for a long time. In fact, this one lady that used to work for him, she's like, do you want some of the pictures I took of him? I'm like, you knew him for 5 years. I've known him for 56 years. I don't want to remember him like he was in the last 5 years. If that's what makes you happy, you enjoy. But that's not how I will remember my brother. And I knew him when he, was mobile and active and a lot more fun. So that's how I choose to remember him. And I am excited because despite what people say, despite what I've said, I had a lot of boundaries up with my caregiving and my role for caring for him because I just had finished with my mom after many, many years. And I was exhausted. And I was like, I don't have the bandwidth to join your hospice team or your healthcare team. You're in and out of the hospital constantly. I can't manage that and work full time. And it kind of all came undone for me. I couldn't get my blood pressure down and I had to quit a pretty bad work situation because people I thought understood the value that I brought. I thought that they cared about me as much as they said they did, but wah wah, shocker. People lie to your face. That's what happens. And then when you speak up for yourself, they view that as some sort of affront to their authority because they don't know how to manage. They don't know how to manage a staff. And they think everybody has to have this uniform way so they can gotcha and get people who aren't following the rules. It's like ridiculous. Take some training classes. Go fucking read a management book. But I've been a manager. I've managed many teams throughout my career. Don't talk to me like I'm some little kid. Like, I've been through something. I've been through years and years of trauma. And if you don't want me here, just say it. I would respect you more. Hey, you're trying to do things that we're not really capable of supporting. We don't want to fire you per se, but if you want to wind this down, we get it. Something like that. We can't pay you for all the extra work we're putting on you. If that's untenable for you, we get it. You know what I mean? Like, I had just lost all respect for them. I don't like people who pretend they know what they're doing and then shine you on in your face and act like you can't tell that they don't know what they're doing. I found that infuriating. And this is me being okay with it. I was really mad this time last year. So, it's a good time to be me. I'm looking forward to my new life. And I just want to urge people that if there's someone that needs care, investigate, ask all the questions. Don't be afraid. Ask the questions. If there's someone that needs to bring in people, ask the questions. Be on the lookout for what kind of person they're going to hire. Read the reviews of the agencies. I would suggest not doing things under the table because if something happens to your loved one, are you really going to sue the little part-time caregiver that, was coming over and she's your grandmama's friend or whatever? No. But if your loved one gets scalded or injured or something happens, I want to hold somebody accountable. So I used an agency for my mom, and I highly recommend doing that because it protects the worker and your loved one. And I get it. You'd rather get the full lion's share of the money until you get sued. And I actually feel like I have enough to sue these people that were taking care of my brother. I'm just not interested in doing it because he was the leader of that terrible ship. So I can't hold them accountable for his bad behavior. But, be aware of what's going on. And that would not be the situation I would put myself in. And if I didn't think it would have crushed him, I would have blown that team up for sure and started over. But, you try to honor people's wishes. And I know that I did that. And now, like I told my cousin Debbie, I'm ready to go dominate and make excellent movies and filmed entertainment and to live my quiet, luxurious Canadian life. I'm ready to move to Toronto. At least I'm getting ready to move to Toronto. I have so much to wrap up here, but I'm definitely thinking about it and I'm super excited about my future. So, yeah. This is the comeback story that I've been waiting on. So look up. I ain't behind a stone anymore. I'm up there and I'm making plans. And hopefully you won't need this podcast to hear about it. Hopefully it'll be popular and everybody will know. And yes, I'm going to write about my work experiences and I'm going to write about my caregiving experiences. And hopefully this podcast will continue to grow in popularity and maybe you'll hear less about Joe Rogan and more about Judith A. Cope because I feel like I bring value for where we are now. I have nothing against Rogan. I thought he was hilarious on Fear Factor. And I'm shocked. If you would have told me 25 years ago that the leading voices in American culture and society would be Joe Rogan and a bunch of other comedians, like Dave Chappelle, like Dave Smith. All these people that are speaking out and speaking up for Americans are comedians. The news media isn't even a distant second. Like, the only people speaking up are comedians. So, yeah, I like Rogan, okay? His podcast doesn't really appeal to me. I think there's so much going on. I said this many years ago. It's like, if he talked about caregiving, maybe we would have some more solutions, or maybe his podcast wouldn't be popular either. I don't know. But there's so many interesting things that aren't interesting to him that we still need to have real conversations about. And the fact that it's so male and so white, I mean, I don't have a problem with that, really. But there's not a lot of diversity of thought on Joe Rogan. And how that's the number one or top podcast, I don't know. Because I think if he had to wait on me listening, he would not have any money. I think I've maybe watched 2 episodes all the way through. I just don't get it. I don't get it. It's not that I want to be Rogan, because I'm not necessarily wanting that level of popularity and scrutiny, because he's so popular, he can't even change his mind anymore. Or he's also so popular, he seems completely disconnected from real people and real opinions. And he needs to come on out and say he regrets endorsing Trump as well. They all do. Shocker, a politician lied to your face. Grow up. Have an amazing week. I'll be back tomorrow. But yeah, I had a great weekend, a beautiful weekend. Saw a lot of friends and family, got a lot done, and I'm excited about the future, and I hope you are too. Take care, like, subscribe, share, give me those 5 stars. Let's go be great. Take care.